Welcome to this explainer on logo design fundamentals. If you're a new design student, you might be wondering exactly where to start or how to wrap your head around creating an iconic brand identity. But here's the absolute best part. You're already completely surrounded by the very subject you want to master. We're going to break down exactly what a logo is, where it comes from, and what actually makes it work, starting right from your mundane morning routine all the way up to absolute corporate masterpieces. Okay, let's dive into this. Think about the very first thing you do when you wake up. In those first 30 to 60 minutes of your day, your routine is probably pretty predictable. Step 1, you wake up and you probably check your phone first, right? Well, boom, there's a logo staring right back at you on that device. Then, for step 2, you head to the washroom and grab the toothpaste. Whatever toothpaste you use, it has a brand right on the tube. Step 3, you reach for the soap. Yep, there's another brand. I mean, even your toothbrush has a brand stamped right onto the handle. From the very second our day starts, we're constantly interacting with these marks. And to emphasize just how surrounded we are, consider this staggering number. From the moment you open your eyes, you see about 30 to 35 logos in just those first few minutes. They're so deeply woven into our lives that we often don't even actively notice them. They just kind of blend into the background. Yet they're always there, silently communicating with us and helping us navigate our morning and make quick decisions. So, what do these symbols actually do for us? Let's talk about the face of a brand. There's an excellent designer named David Airy who wrote a really brilliant book called Logo Design Love. In the intro of that book, he shares a fantastic concept that perfectly summarizes what we're exploring today. So the crucial point is, a logo is actually the face of a brand. Just like you recognize a friend, a family member, or a celebrity just by looking at their face, you recognize a company by looking at its logo. Basically, a logo is fundamentally a mark of identification. It functions much like your social media profile picture or your personal signature. When you sign a document with your initials, people instantly understand who it's from. That is exactly what a logo does for a brand. We can instantly recognize something or understand its use just by its mark. It lets us immediately decide, hey, I like this brand. Or, on the flip side, no way, I don't like this brand. It totally doesn't suit me. It's pure instant identification.
Now, you might think this is all modern corporate stuff, but we actually need to look at the ancient roots of logo design.
Let's move to and see how this builds across history. To really understand this craft, we have to shift backward in time. Think back to ancient populations that were completely illiterate. They couldn't read written words at all. So how did farmers claim their property? Well, they marked their animals like horses and cows with a hot seal. That unique hot seal was placed there to show, hey, this is my property, this is my animal. And with that very practical, necessary action, you could argue the very first logo designs were born. Which brings us to a massive realization: why symbols actually beat words. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast between text and visuals. Not everyone can read a written word. It requires specific literacy to be understood. But a symbol, that can be universally recognized by absolutely everyone. A super simple, everyday example of this is washroom signs globally. No matter what language is spoken in a particular country, you're going to see the male and female icons on the doors, and instantly, everyone understands what they mean. That is the true power of a visual identity. But before you rush off to create the next globally recognized icon, we need to address the myth of overnight success. I need to be completely honest with you guys. Logo design is not a piece of cake. It's really not just about sketching a pretty shape and suddenly becoming a millionaire. Creating a truly great identity requires deep, intensive thinking and serious, focused hard work. It's a massive thought process. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. Apple, Nike, FedEx, Sony, Coca-Cola. When you look at these heavy hitters, you see perfect, iconic logos. But absolutely none of these giants achieved global popularity overnight simply because someone drew a nice picture. No one becomes that successful in a single night. There is a massive gap between simply having a good design and possessing a famous, highly valued brand. A good drawing alone just isn't enough. Sometimes a logo is structurally very good, but if there's no work put into making it famous, or if money isn't spent to promote it, it literally goes nowhere. Every big brand you know spends a massive amount of money to repeatedly show their logo to you. They're shown to us many, many times, and that repetition is why they're popular. Otherwise, the design alone wouldn't have anywhere near that much value. So my strongest advice to you as you start these classes is this. Please, don't get frustrated if your design doesn't become famous instantly. You might make a brilliant logo and start thinking, man, I worked so hard, why didn't my design get famous? Actually, scratch that. Don't even let yourself think that way. That is totally beside the point for a designer. Building brand recognition is a very long procedure. Your job is to create the strongest possible face for the brand and let the long-term investment do the rest. This brings us to a final provocative thought I want to leave you with today. Tomorrow, when you wake up and start your routine all over again, what logo will you notice first? Keep your eyes open, really study the symbols around you, because mastering logo design starts with simply paying close attention to the visual world you interact with every single day. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep observing and keep designing.